I'm Shawn Tumbokenflowers, your GM. Welcome to episode 69 of From Ashes.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
The streets of
Why are you doing this to me? Usually dogging on me doesn't start until like halfway through the talkback. I can't believe we're doing it at the
I felt like it was best.
Yeah. Welcome to the Foolish Chronicle Talkback From Ashes. I said that out of order. This is going to be the Talkback episode 4 for episode 4 for our podcast that we do, because this is the most masturbatory show known to man. Ever. I am Shawn Tumbokenflowers, your GM.
I'm not Shawn Tumbokenflowers. I'm Olivia Manning. I'm sorry.
You lied to me?
Yeah.
You lied to our lovely Patreon supporters.
I lied to your mom. Hey, I introduced myself.
You didn't say your character. You didn't say your character.
I play a fucking I'm sorry, I thought we knew that. I thought it was established.
I don't know, we're only 4 episodes in. What if they're stupid, Olivia?
That's true. What if they're stupid?
I'm Dylan Manning. I play Mirai, the Storm Cardera.
I'm Ren French. I play Orlin Wright.
And I'm Keys, and I don't like Wes Anderson as a director very much. I think his animated movies were really good, but like any of his live action stuff I can't get into.
One of the 3 people listening is going to hate you for that.
Alright, you're ready to get into questions.
Yeah, I have a question for Shawn or Olivia, maybe Ren. What did Wes Anderson direct?
We can't get into this.
Moonrise Kingdom, Isle of Dogs, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I love
really
Fantastic
good.
Mr. Fox.
Yeah, any of his animated stuff. Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't know if he directed them or wrote them or whatever, but those are
He recently
great
directed
movies.
The French Dispatch.
Yes, some of my favorite movies, but any, like, it's not Mount Rushmore, it's just Rushmore, Moonrise Kingdom, Life Aquatic. Can't get into it.
I've never heard of any of these. I've heard of, like, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Alright,
and all that.
so Keys, you were saying?
Yes, questions.
Hey, did you have questions for us?
Geez, where do I want to start? This was a non-eventful yet very eventful session, and I really liked it. One thing I guess I'll dive right into is that there was a lot of chemistry we got to see from the, between and from the crew in this session. So kind of, we had some bickering while Dove was using the disguise kit on everybody. We had some groveling between everybody at the end, or rather some bickering about groveling at the end. And I just want to know, like, your all's general thoughts and experience with that.
Can we talk about Reginald Glasshorse, or is that too hot for TV?
Armstammer Glasshorse. Please talk
So-
about Reginald.
Why would you ask permission?
I think my favorite thing about Reginald Glasshorse as a concept is that, and Dylan says this out loud, I think, Dylan's least favorite thing about TTRPGs is names and having to come up with them and say them and live with them.
I actually think that's why Storm doesn't have any siblings, is because Dylan didn't want to come up with their names.
Dylan could not have thought of names for them. So the fact that Dylan came up with, 5 names, and we made them use 3 of them is just, demonic on our part.
I really like that. First of all, you guys just stayed so silent as I kept throwing out names, which is like hell for me.
It was like watching a train crash. It was great.
We just let you hang.
Yeah, it was not
As
good.
we just come on, make more names for us.
You guys would just throw in and be like, yeah, that sucks. And somehow, after telling me that enough of the names sucked, we ended up with me using 3 of them.
With Reginald Armstammer Glasshorse.
From the
Everyone knows.
Armstammer Glasshorse clan.
Stupid.
Fuck
Stupid
me. And
dumb.
it didn't even work. It was a moot point. He did not get us anything. I can't stress how much.
It is so... Reginald is so important to me. I like
the
to
lore.
imagine that Storm moonlights as Reginald. Just for fun.
I love the image in my mind of Orlin just taking a swig of some drink while watching Dove trying to put Storm together, and Storm spews these awful names is so good.
Shit.
And also Dove disguising Orlin, I don't know how to describe it other than cute. It wasn't wholesome, but it was just silly. These are just silly old dudes doing silly old things.
Shawn promises to God that this is not a funny podcast, but this episode in particular is very silly. I think simply because we failed so much that it was it genuinely became a if we don't laugh, we're gonna start crying.
Shawn said in the previous arc, you guys need to roll worse.
And boy, did we roll worse.
We are at our cores silly little guys.
And this is so important.
And which means Shawn will go, all right, here's the important story. And we'll go, okay, we can do that. But 2 minutes later, we're going to take a break to be silly again.
To be silly a little bit. And usually, Shawn cuts it out. But Reginald Armstammer Glasshorse was so pivotal to our, I would say, emotional arc in that episode.
We asked him to keep that in. We requested.
Begged you.
You can't
I
not
almost
keep it
cut
in.
it. Okay. I almost cut Reginald Glasshorse.
Oh my god.
No.
Because it's just so irrelevant, and it doesn't become relevant the entire arc. Spoiler alert.
But it's so funny.
But it's just so, funny to me that was the approach, and obviously didn't work. We had to do, it was totally just a non sequitur.
Just a one-off
But
non
it was
sequitur.
just a waste of 5 to 10 minutes. And it was but to remove it would be a waste.
Yeah, honestly, I loved it. I loved it so much.
Key to the lore in no way, but it also distinctly is.
It's so important.
It gives you an idea of what this crew is and what you all are like. You had too much luck in your first section.
And now we're like, fuck.
Yeah, we had our pilot where everything got to go great, and then we hit the main season, and we're like, oh, this is hard.
It's very hard to be a gang.
Yes, that's another thing I wanted to kind of ask about, is that compared to last session especially, you all failed a lot during this info gathering stage. It wasn't your best work. It wasn't your best roles, really. You had great work, but shit rolls. And I'm wondering, how are you all feeling about this score?
As a quick question, did anybody succeed a role during
Reginald
that entire...
got a mixed success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I forgot about Reginald. I didn't put Reginald in the mix. But I'm pretty sure every other role was below a 4.
There were no
for
6s.
real.
There
All
were
of
no
Shawn's
6s.
behind the table rules, I can assure you. I'm pretty sure Debonair got a straight 1 on the one role that he did.
Something like that.
It was so just astronomically bad.
I thought we had one more mixed success in there somewhere, but it literally didn't matter just because of the sheer amount of failure we had throughout the episode.
Bad.
Yeah.
There's not even anything funny to say about it. It's just so miserable.
We had to make the
just
episode
kept
funny and
throwing
goofy
spaghetti
because
at the
of that.
wall, and all of it just turned rotten in our hands. It was awful.
Somebody sprayed the walls with Pam. Nothing would stick.
It was just
It was me. I spread no.
You did it.
No, not
Yeah,
my
that
walls. My wall spaghetti.
It's interesting because that's one of the moments where I go ooh, I should throw the crew a bone.
please.
But it's super interesting when you guys just run up against the wall sometimes and then just have to keep innovating.
I love how Orlin tries to innovate at the end of the episode by going around to, all right, well, before we go grovel, maybe I could just observe his house for a while.
I told this to Shawn while I was writing the music for that section and discussing if it needed music or not. I was I don't really remember this scene being very emotionally intense or whatever. I don't remember having any strong feelings about it. I was listening back to it and I heard Ren say, I could try to sneak around again, and I felt the exact same horrid anger in my stomach.
I think
Tonka felt at that exact moment. Oh my god.
That is okay, to be fair, that is an unflattering cut for Ren. Because there is a longer conversation in that scene to part the kimono
a little bit, yeah.
No. To look behind the scenes for a second. There's a longer cut of that scene where you guys talk about some other things and you come to the conclusion of let me skulk around again, and it actually sounds far more natural. But it's more interesting this way.
It's
And
also
Orland's just
something.
I could do the same
It's
thing.
fully
that I
something
did
Orland would
before.
say. It's
Now, to be it's hard to get
Okay.
a cut that is flattering for Ren.
That's true.
Oh. But what were you
Yeah.
going to say about that, Ren?
I was just going to say that while the uncut version is more flattering for me, the cut version feels so much more like Orland.
That's fair.
It's so funny. It's
It
so
did feel
like
very
it's just like so
Orland.
frustrating for Ivanka and
It's
the
so
Olivia Manning.
tone deaf.
But it's I could sneak around his house again.
It's just like throwing some stupid asinine idea up in the air and then just listening to Ivanka's silent seething is so good.
So bad.
I feel like all that kind of brought a lot of character to the crew. Like more and more, we're getting to explore all your different characters individually, and kind of how you are, and that's really nice.
Olivia, can I bring you over here into the music corner?
into this sort of Olivia's music corner space
Yes.
that we've established.
Into-
Everyone else
Yeah, I
can
would like
leave.
to-
Everyone else leave. This is our space. This is our treehouse.
Olivia, this is a section. We have a music corner now.
We have a music corner now.
It's this space.
And
We've
I will
decided.
say that for this episode in particular, the music corner is built like a saw trap. I am
Mhm.
dangling over, I would say, fans and knives and any of these sorts of things. This episode, I don't know what it was about it, dog, but I couldn't do it. This music drove me insane. I could not. I think it's because we just don't fucking do anything. So I was like, I mean, I gotta make this interesting, but like, we don't do anything. And Storm Comes Home, which is what the track is called. You all don't know this, but a little peek behind the curtain. I name all the little tracks. And this one's called, the one where Storm meets his parents. We meet Storm's parents for the first time. Is called Storm Comes Home. And it was a Sisyphean task, I would say, for a cracker like myself to create the ambiance that I needed for Storm's family. Because I was like,
Of a distinctly black
yeah, I was like, I
household.
want it to sound like soul. I want it to sound 70s. I want it to be like, you know, your mom in the morning is putting on the oldies to convince you to clean your room. That's what I wanted.
Right.
And I was like, I can't do it, Shawn. I started and restarted Storm Comes Home like 3 times, and I was like, Shawn, I did it again. But
It was literally, it was hellish. I was taking calls, like, at train stops. And,
I was like, Shawn, just
you know,
listen to it. Just listen to it. See if it's good. And Shawn was like, not good enough. Then he sent me
Try it again.
sent me back into the darkness. Try again, cracker. And then he just threw me into the cellar. But I will say I am proud as we did it. We did it, Joe.
Storm Comes
we
Home,
we did it,
I
Joe.
liked it. I liked it. I liked the end result. I think it was really
The
good.
ambiance is fun. Yeah, a lot of it was
Okay, can you
ambiance.
talk about the trumpet and the saxophone?
So okay, so he's an alto saxophone and she's a trumpet, and they have a little. That's like Storm Comes Home's whole thing as a track is that they duet each other, and there's this like electric piano going on in the background, and it's just I think it's cute, and I think it's wonderful, and I think it's exactly the kind of like peace that we needed from killing everyone and murdering everyone and etc. etc.
Yeah. It's nice. It's just nice.
It's just
a feel
nice.
good. It's a real feel good.
Feel good
piece.
family peace.
Yeah. What other music do you do in this episode as well?
Very little.
Yeah, I feel like that's like one of 2
I
tracks. Reginald Glasshorse.
Reginald-
One of my favorite tracks, maybe. Ever.
So Storm has a prowl theme that sounds a little Pink Panther-y, right? And that's
Yes.
sort of played a couple times when she's sort of, sneaking around or doing anything prowly. This was not a prowl, it was a survey, and it wasn't Storm. It was Reginald Armstammer Glasshorse. So I was like, I woke up with the visions. I was like, Shawn, Shawn, what if I just do Storm's Prowl, but I add some stupid, like, dulcimers in there? Like, something to just make it sound real bad. Shawn was like,
so
try.
goofy.
Shawn was like, kiss me, you animal. And it's so goofy, but I think it works. Because
It's comical.
it's so just, like, beautiful. This episode, I was just like, fuck it, we ball musically. And you know what? We balled.
We really push you out of your comfort zone, I feel like.
Yeah, it was no strings, no D minor, no 6/8. It was evil.
Well, to be fair, you had the final,
Okay, yes,
final
that's
little
actually
argument,
true.
which was very in your wheelhouse, and one of my favorite pieces, I think.
I got rewarded. It's like training a fucking seal. Shawn's like, okay,
Yeah.
you made some soul here, have some violins, and I was like, yay!
Here's your little fish.
Here's your little fish. Now go right. Storm comes home again. No.
The saw trap that is writing black people music. But also, that last theme, I loved. I think it was actually really weird because you had there's a stinger in it.
Yeah, and Shawn, we always talk about this. Shawn gets one. He gets one good
my
idea
one
when we're
moment.
lining up music, and he was like, what if we just flow it in? What if we don't do a stinger? What if we just, like, kind of flow it into each other? And I was like, Shawn, that's stupid. And he was like, let me cook.
Let me cook.
And he cooked. And it works.
I did cook.
He gets one. He gets one.
It went to a really different place before, and then and what it finally sounds like is I'm very satisfied by it.
It's good.
Anyway, music this episode was just like a hell.
Just the
for Olivia.
worst for
Not
me.
for me though. I'm built different.
Yeah, Shawn's built African American.
I was like, this is right. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong.
You got
this
it.
Is right.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. Me literally, I Google searched 70s soul samples. I was
Yeah.
like, please teach me.
Something here's got to be right.
Come on.
Yeah. But solid music corner. Do you have another question lined up?
I do. I have a few other questions lined up. These are a little more character specific, and a lot of these actually, Dylan, I'm going to aim at you. We get a lot of Storm lore in this episode, and it's really good, and I really like it. Had you thought, like, just in general, like, when Storm's family gets introduced, when we kind of get to see Storm's home life and just the way they live, had you thought about this a lot before, or did you come up with this on the fly?
Okay, so I was supposed to think of their family beforehand.
You were supposed to.
I actually messaged you. I don't give a lot of tells before the episodes, like, recording goes up. I don't, like, tell the players anything that's gonna happen unless there's something where I kind of want you to prep. It's usually backstory stuff. So I was like, hey, Dylan, we're gonna see your family next episode, so think about that. That's all I said.
And I did think about it for like an hour, maybe, total. So like from the moment I made Storm, I had like their family in my head in the way of like, okay, well, this is kind of the personality I want their family to have. So, like, I want their family to be similar to them. You know, she is her mother's daughter and he is his father's son, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't think so much about, like, particularly at one point Shawn asked me, like, so what do your parents do? And I'm just sitting there and I go, fuck, I completely forgot to think about that.
Okay, but, like, that's very realistic, because do you guys know what your parents do?
Right, so I had gotten the basics of their personality down, and I had gotten the basics of, like, their living situation down, but then when it came time to, like, put that into words, I had not put enough time into how to say any of those things. And then, like, so it was a bit rough. I did not do as much prep as I was supposed to, but I had the basics of who they were and what they were down. I think the funniest thing to me about that scene is the thing I had not prepped at all is at this point I still did not have a character voice for Storm. So I didn't have any expectations or thoughts for what them with their family would sound like. But we start the scene up and Shawn just picks a voice and goes with it. Shawn, I remember when we were talking about this before, you had kind of an explanation for how you got to that character voice. Do you remember it, and do you think you can recreate it?
It is, I think it is verbatim. I went, okay, the Storm's dad is a tough guy. So I went, okay, we're a tough guy. But I need the voice to be memorable because it needs to be distinct. So I'm gonna go from tough guy 1 to maybe like, maybe I got an inflection. Maybe I talk a certain way. And then suddenly I realized that, I'm a New Yorker. I'm from New York.
God damn it, it happened
And,
again.
Fuck.
The rats run this city.
I'm a guy. I do my thing. I go fight at the bar. And
And a fun thing that attentive viewers with ears might have heard is that Shawn can really only do one kind of New York accent, and it's A. So when trying to come up with a female high-pitched version of that, it's
hey,
yeah, it's that exactly, which is so funny.
I love my little Mirai so much, and I also love my son.
You guys talking in here?
God,
Yeah,
I love
it's,
I
Storm's
love my
parents.
parents. What can I say?
Yeah, so from here on out, Storm will have a New York accent, by the way. This is not true for the first, I would say, 3 episodes, but it is going to be true.
So funny.
Yeah, Dylan didn't choose a character voice, so I chose one for her.
So Shawn showed up at my doorstep and went, "This is your character voice
York.
now," and I went, "I can work with that."
Hey.
And it's really
Yeah,
charming.
sounds good.
Like, the whole scene with his family is so charming, and I love it.
I love Storm's family so much. I would legitimately do a spin-off, like, sitcom audio drama that is just Storm and their family.
Just them.
Can we get another
Yeah,
question?
I was about to say, kind of the other question I wanted to ask about Mirai was we get to see Grace this session, and this is the first time, that I think we're meeting Grace, and also the first time we're seeing a rival of one of our crew members. And
I think that's true, yeah.
yeah,
yes, I believe
very
that's true.
exciting. So tell me more about Grace and how you felt about that.
Okay, so, first of all, I want to kill her.
Okay.
I think it is a really hard thing for Storm, basically, that they live, like, an incredibly separate life. Like, she does not... Her parents don't know what she does. She lies to them constantly, which I think
They
is
know
rough for
she's
her,
called
because...
Storm, but that's about it.
No, I don't think they even
No,
know
I don't
that.
even think they even
call
know
her
that.
Storm in
They
the
don't.
episode.
That...
That-
Shawn repeatedly, I believe, during recording, said, hey, I'm in New York, would go, hey, Storm, and the rest of us would go, nope. Try again.
Try
You did
again.
it. It's in the final cut. It's in the final cut. Just so you know.
Oh, okay.
The final cut's
look
not
it
up yet.
Sylvia, hey, Keys, I hate to break it to you. It will not be in the final cut. But they think it is ultimately best that these lives are separate, and through happenstance and, like, difficulty to keep... It's really difficult to keep secrets in Duskfall.
Mhm.
So Grace ended up learning about Mirai and the Storm, and kind of put that together, and especially realized the power that they held in being the person that knows that about them. So Grace showing up, like, it is just this stark reminder for Mirai by Grace showing up at their family home, like, while their parents are around, while they're just going about a normal life, not a criminal one. It is such a stark reminder for them that they are not just putting themselves in danger, basically. That they are not just hurting themselves if shit goes bad. Like, their family is right there, and there are people that know that.
And they are not they are not actually two separate people. Mirai and the Storm. Mirai is the Storm.
Yes.
And they can't, ultimately they can't be separated.
Yes, exactly.
Keys, how did you think Mirai and the Storm works?
It was a metaphor.
It was a metaphor the whole time,
let
guys.
Them have
Keys,
some
I'm so
art.
glad you're finally learning that.
Keys have some art.
It's like an alias. It's like how it's called an alias.
Well, it's just, Mirai is the comedian, and then the Storm
Is the musician.
Yeah.
I hate you.
So-
Mirai.
And you get the best of both worlds if you think about it.
You get the
Yeah.
limo out front.
From my perspective, this scene, I was writing in, like, okay, Storm's family. I want to see Storm's family in this episode. But then after that, I was like, what else can I put in here? Ooh, I want to include Grace. And so I just decided to design the most, like, shit heel scene. And you couldn't do anything about it. And it was awesome. that was my favorite. Like, I just loved writing that part. I was like, ooh, this is beautiful. And then right next to it.
Sean's
We're gonna
favorite
do
part of writing a podcast is hurting his players.
Yep.
We love each other very much.
I could have
We're all
taken her.
friends.
I could have taken her.
The
But you-
other thing we get a lot of lore for this session is we get to see a lot more of Dove and Debonair. Like, I think this is kind of our first proper scene between them. Olivia and Shawn, do you want to talk about that a bit?
So we made Barbie dolls and then we smushed them together and made them kiss. Next question.
Yeah. That's it. Next question.
Uh,
No, this is a scene that I dubbed an air.
that's the ship name, by the way, is Debonair.
Yeah, Debonair is such
Officially.
a tasty little morsel
They're so
for Olivia and I.
They're so delicious. Because they just want
Um,
to love each other and they can't.
Yeah, they're a little forbidden love
So
story.
sad. Forbidden not for any societal reasons, but because they both, for some reason, think it's forbidden. And they're
Yeah.
both like, we can't.
We can't, but we can.
But we can, but we
Kiss me,
can't.
you animal.
But I think it's really interesting. And this,
I think we
you know,
should stop letting Shawn and Olivia
Shawn
play
and Olivia talk.
characters.
Yeah.
I just think it's so
Forever.
fun. The consistent thing of like, Dove is gonna kill herself if that's what has to happen for her to get what she wants, and Debonair can't let that happen. He wants her to be happy, but he knows she's probably happy or dead, which is so sad. But like, man,
Yeah.
it's real.
I really wanted to, in these first episodes, reveal as much as I can about the characters' inner workings, what makes them tick. And so I wanted to push a lot of the things that emotionally drive your characters in the forefront. And so the second, I mean, obviously Grace, but the second you said, we're going to go to Debonair, I immediately was thinking, you know, after we get all the business out of the way, how can I
Just have some
really
fun with
push? Yeah, how can I push Dove right now? And
Because that's another place you can see kind of this
Oh, it's
chemistry
beautiful.
between the characters. Like, they banter a little bit, and it's cute, and it's funny. And it's just this really charming scene where they suddenly shift from business criminal mode to, we're gonna go have a night on the town and then discuss crime and business.
Yeah, the fun thing
Yeah.
about these characters is that they're people, which I think is so delightful. Like, they're, like, you know, we're doing the thing and we're doing the narrative and we're creating the, you know, the symbolism and the foreshadowing and the, oh no. But also, like, they're kind of just dudes sometimes, and I think that's so lovely. And the coolest thing about TTRPGs is that you can't plan to be cool all the time, and sometimes you're just a dude.
It's so
Yeah.
funny to me watching, like, listening back and hearing our, like, fantasy fictional escapism, like, podcast turn into, I'm gonna go shopping with my boyfriend.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go set up dinner. I'm gonna go visit my parents.
Yeah. It turned into a slice of life anime.
It's
For an
we're
episode.
just- we failed so bad at being gang members that we were like, fuck it, beach episode. It was we
Not
rolled
for
too
real.
many twos and it was like, fuck it, we're done. We're
John,
done.
Nah,
we're gonna
we
get a
did.
beach episode. Dust Cold beach episode. man.
Yeah,
I'm
when
pretty
Dust
sure
Bowl
the
gets a
sea
beach.
is toxic. Yeah, or
It
something
very
like
much
that.
is.
So next arc I'll get you.
When
beach
there's a
episode.
tolerable beach, maybe next season we'll find a nice beach. What I love about TTRPGs, by the way, and we do this a lot, actually. There's another like behind the scenes, we used to play TTRPGs together. Who would have thunk that
No,
we're an
really?
established
Who would've
party?
thunk?
And we played another game where I think I ended up being able to push around your characters by your personal commitments in such a fascinating way. Like, Olivia, I made your character skip a boss battle to go to
go
band
like
practice.
do your job, to do his
It was
job.
not a practice. It was for
Yeah.
a gig.
It was a gig, yeah, a band for their a gig for their band.
By the way,
then
if you guys
Skilled.
want to know the sacrifices we make to do this podcast, we don't get to play that campaign anymore because every time we have time, we have to record the podcast.
I love this podcast so much. Don't get me wrong. I would set it down if it meant we got to go back to playing that. I'll be so
a
real.
phone if you want us to play Spellbound. You get no other
Bro.
information.
It's called Spellbound and City of Mist. If you want to hear it on our Patreon, Dylan's character has a college schedule.
We had to make out a college schedule.
Thank you for listening to episode 4 of our Talkback series. The next episode will be out in 2 weeks. I love you, sweet Patreon supporters, and you make this so lovely.
Boo! Corny. Throw tomatoes.
Oh,
Throw tomatoes.
I love you, Cheryl.
Boo!
We
Throw
love you,
tomatoes.
We can't keep talking to just my mom.
I actually
There will
love the
eventually
idea
be
that all
other
of these are just
patrons.
direct messages to your mother.
I don't care if we hit 1,000 Patreon subscribers.
We are
we
only
will
we are only talking to Cheryl during these.
exactly a real one. Cheryl, we
this
love
is
you.
the only time that Shawn talks to his mom, so
Yeah.
I love you. I love you so much, Cheryl.
Thank you to my mom for being one of our Patreon supporters.
talk shit, get hit.
Talk
Go
shit,
away.
get hit. Boo.
Good night, everybody.